Hello, this is VNews Broadcast Daily and following are the highlights.
Lao Prime Minister Thong Sinh Thamavong received a delegation of Vietnamese Investor Association in Laos in Vientiane on December the 15th. The World Bank's latest development report notes Vietnam's significant progress in gender equality. The 17th Vietnam Film Festival opened in the central province of TRUYnh, attracting 108 films from 30 studios.
Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng hosted two separate receptions in Hanoi on December 15th for Lao Health Minister Exavang Vongvachit and Minister Post and Telecommunications Hem Phomachanh.
Prime Minister Dũng highly valued outcomes of the talks between the two health ministers of Laos and Vietnam, saying that the two sides cooperated effectively through mutual support and experience sharing in human resource training, disease control, and provision of medical checks for people along the common border. Minister Exavang Vongvichit said his current visit to Vietnam aims to strengthen Vietnam-Laos special relations and ties between the two health sectors in particular. He thanked Vietnam for its help in training medical workers for Laos. At the reception for Minister Post and Telecommunications Hem Phomachanh, Prime Minister Dũng highly valued cooperative agreements between the two ministries, affirming his support for their plan on sharing experiences in state management of post and telecommunications, human resource training, and international cooperation in telecommunications. Minister Hem Phomachanh said he wishes the Vietnamese government will continue to facilitate the cooperation between the two ministries. He affirmed his commitment to create favorable conditions for Vietnamese firms to invest in the post and telecommunications sector in Laos.
Lao Prime Minister Thong Sinh Thamavong received a delegation of the Vietnamese Investors Association in Laos in Vientiane on December 15th.
The delegation is visiting Laos to assess the implementation of Vietnamese-funded projects in Laos and study possibilities for new investment plans based on the two countries' demands. Head of the delegation, Trần Bắc Hà, who is also chairman of the Bank for Investment and Development of Vietnam, said the association will also act as a bridge to connect the two countries' governments and enterprises. Prime Minister Thong Sinh Thamavong said the delegation's visit expressed the determination of Vietnamese investors in investment cooperation with Laos. He spoke highly of the association's future plans and pledged to create favorable conditions for Vietnamese investors to do business in Laos. The same day, the delegation was received by Lao Deputy Prime Minister Somsavat Lengsavat.
The 17th Asian Transport Ministers meeting wrapped up in Phnom Penh on December 15th with a joint statement looking towards the Asian community with air and sea linkage and facilitation of transport in the region.
The one-day meeting adopted a framework on implementation of the ASEAN Single Aviation Market, including liberalization of aviation transport, common standards and practices on safety, security, and harmonization of management. The meeting signed Protocol 6 on railways border and interchange stations of the Framework Agreement on the facilitation of goods in transit, which is considered a major step in the region's effort to facilitate travel of cross-border trains in the region. The ministers acknowledged activities on building a strategy on implementation of the ASEAN Single Sea Transport Market undertaken by the Maritime Working Group.
On the sidelines of the 17th Asian Transport Ministers meeting, Vietnamese Minister of Transport Đinh La Thăng met with Cambodian Minister of Public Works and Transport Cham Yu Tức.
At the meeting, the two ministers agreed on the direction of bilateral cooperation between the two ministries in the 2011-2015 period and a vision towards 2020. They stressed the building up and upgrading of road routes in Asia, the ASEAN and the Mekong sub-region, as well as implementation of bilateral and multilateral road transport agreements. Regarding the cooperation in the fields of railways, waterway and airway, the two countries will coordinate with sponsors in developing a railway route linking Phnom Penh and Ho Chi Minh City. They also agreed to work towards the signing of an agreement on facilitating railway transport in the Mekong sub-region and the establishment of Cambodia's national airline on the basis of Angkor Air.
Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu province and Japanese advisors have agreed to work together to create a breakthrough in the cooperation between the southern Vietnam province and Japan.
At a recent working session with Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu authorities, senior advisors of the Japan International Cooperation Agency and the Vietnam Development Forum said the province has good grounds to make a breakthrough in economic development. They recommended that the province soon set up a channel for information exchange in order to facilitate coordination and communication between Japanese partners and the province. According to the advisors, the Japanese government is considering the provision of official development assistance capital to the Phước An Bridge project in Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu. The bridge will link the Thị Vải Cái Mép Port complex to southern inter-regional highways. Japan also plans to study investment in Con Đảo Island, which has great potentials in tourism development.
Vietnam has made significant progress in gender equality, but important challenges remained in both social and economic terms, the World Bank said in its latest World Development Report 2012.
The World Bank and the Ministry of Labor were in Values and Social Affairs on December the 16th to announce the report, which is themed Gender Equality and Development. According to the report, excess female mortality after birth and missing girls at birth account for an estimated 3.9 million women each year in low and middle-income countries. About 2/5 are never born due to a preference for sons. A sixth die in early childhood, and over a third die in their reproductive years. The report calls for action in 4 areas, namely addressing human capital issues such as excessive mortality of girls and women and gender gaps in education where these persist, closing income and productivity gaps between women and men, giving women a greater voice within households and societies, and limiting the perpetuation of gender inequality across generations.
Vietnam has affirmed its commitment to joining the international community in coping with climate change at the 17th Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in South Africa.
At a press briefing in Hanoi on December the 15th, Deputy Minister of Natural Resources and Environment TRUYnh HÍNH THՈNG said the head of the Vietnamese delegation delivered a speech at the conference's high-level section. The speech highlighted Vietnam's activities in response to climate change and the country's views on establishing international agreements to implement the Climate Convention and Kyoto Protocol in 2012. Apart from attending official meetings in the framework of the conferences, the delegation also held almost 20 bilateral meetings with delegations of other countries, which have cooperated with Vietnam in the field of climate change or are seeking cooperative opportunities with Vietnam in this field. According to Deputy Minister Ha, the success of the conference was the agreement on a proposal to draw up a legal framework by 2015 for climate action by all countries.
The 17th Vietnam Film Festival opened in the central province of Phú Yên on December 15th. More than 3,000 guests and fans filled all the seats at the Sao Mai Hall where the opening was held.
Speaking at the opening, Minister of Culture, Sports and Tourism TRUYnh said the Vietnamese cinema has faced many difficulties. However, the filmmakers always seek ways to overcome and present their creations in this field. The minister said the event aims to honor excellent cinematic works and artists who have registered outstanding achievements and made strong contributions to the Vietnamese cinema. This year, 30 film studios across the country sent 108 films to the festival. It is the first time several private filmmakers have attended in the festival, which is the largest event of the Vietnamese movie industry. The festival will wrap up on December the 17th.
And that comes to the end of VNews today. Thanks for watching and see you next time.